Hello everyone, welcome back to Alkaline Hydroxide 784. Today in the GPO, you'll be looking at the third A versus B, which honestly kind of irks me a bit, and that is natural versus man-made. Well, yeah, speaking of that, I don't even know how to start. I mean, where do we even define what is natural and what is man-made? Are apples bred selectively for sweetness natural or man-made? Is insulin made by genetically programmed E. coli man-made or natural? Are buildings made with fungal growths, aka mycelium, man-made or natural? But anyways, we shall tread into the murky, muddy waters and see for ourselves, natural or man-made. Which is it? Right, so if you're writing this as a GP essay, and okay, I guess I haven't really clarified the question, which one is superior or which one is better, like that's the idea. So if you're writing this as a GP essay, you definitely would want to start with the definition of the two terms because, as we saw just now, the definition itself seems pretty blurred. So what we will do is specifically talk about things that we can kind of clearly say that are natural or say that they're man-made before coming back to what I mentioned in the intro. So yeah, quick definition. Natural means that it is entirely or for the most part made by nature without human interference. And the dictionary kind of says the same thing, so yeah, let's go with that. Man-made means, well, if you want to be for sure it's man-made, then you can say it is made almost entirely or, somewhat majorly a result of humans and their machines and technology and things like that. And the fuzzy part will be looked at later, I guess. Yeah, so definition down, let's look at some points to see which is better. So today we are having team natural here and team man-made here. So, let's start. Right, so we say that natural is better because it is inherently from nature. It follows the rules of nature and is therefore better than man-made things, which goes against nature quite a lot of times. Natural things are more environmentally friendly. The world has been going through changes for sure, but these changes have taken place gradually or at a time pace suited for living beings to adapt and for Earth to continue teeming with life. But look, we humans have created many man-made things, from buildings with concrete and polluting vehicles to pesticides that hurt the insects around us. We have indirectly caused change, and very drastic change at that. That threatens the balance of the earth, and living beings as well as weather systems cannot adapt to these changes fast enough. That is why we ourselves are struggling with the problems that we have created. We too are living beings created naturally. So yeah, natural is better because it is what is complementary to nature and to earth. Thank you for your point. You mentioned that natural products are better for the environment, but sometimes a natural product is so rare that humans have either exhausted it to oblivion or resorted to man-made sources. In a sense, man-made is better because we actually preserve the natural versions or we follow ethical means of obtaining a product. Why did humans even start with agriculture? Because the natural supply was just not sufficient and not suited for progress. Instead, the best fruits or plants were selected and planted, and with human intervention, we eventually have very efficient and productive fruits. You know, something that's actually sweet and edible instead of something that's inedible. As for entirely man made products, these come from an even more hard to find substance. So, for example, vanilla is hard to grow. Sometimes, if you want natural vanilla flavor, it is not entirely natural. For example, it's not necessarily that vanilla comes from vanilla beans. It could be processed beaver secretions or some very unusual sources. Luckily for humans, they have found a way of synthesizing vanillin from wood. Likewise, for many pharmaceutical ingredients, it is hard to properly concentrate the API or active pharmaceutical ingredient from a natural source, and oftentimes the APIs are just synthesized. Or it could be that synthesizing it gives a more effective API. Take aspirin. Its origins are actually salicylic acid, of which salicin was found from the willow tree, but salicylic acid is reacted with another molecule to give you aspirin. and the acid itself is often biosynthesized rather than obtained from salicin or from willow trees. So this is even more pertinent with our need to solve problems today. We tackle over-reliance on meat by trying to make fake meat, which is more ethical and, dare we say, environmentally friendly. We try to swap fossil fuels, which is actually natural stuff, for solar panels and windmills and nuclear fission in our aim to save the environment. We save ourselves from viruses by manufacturing and injecting the RNA instead. We can fine tune what is originally natural to solve problems, and in this case, man made products can be in tune with what nature expects. So, in this case, I would say that man made is better than natural. Okay, thank you for your comments. Well, you do realize though that behind all of those man made products is the original natural version. Life would have been very different without natural inspiration. Nature inspires man made products, and that makes it superior to man made products. In the journey to solve the environmental problems we have created due to man made products, we are legitimately looking straight at ancient bacteria provided by nature to help us degrade plastics and oils and more, much more efficiently than we could ever. In our quest for longer and better lives, we now look towards ancient bacteria, blue horseshoe crabs, and more for potential pharmaceutical ingredients or research materials. And bacteriophages may prove to be better than antibiotics, which in itself was founded due to a natural process. We look at the structures on butterfly wings to give color to our structures, like buildings, and we fly with the aerodynamics we learn from birds, and we stand in awe at the strength of spiders itself. You see, nature provides us with the answers we need, and the man made products wouldn't exist without this inspiration. And just to top it all off, look at the sad state of AI, especially in natural language processing. We have chatbots that barely answer your questions, and the only good ones are quite specialized. Meanwhile, all of us would prefer a human on the other side of the line. In fact, I'm willing to bet you robots are just repeating a script inputted by some humans. Wait, how did we get here? Where in the world are we? Look, I couldn't afford to do this there. I honestly think this entire debate is meaningless. Hi, I didn't know the debate was over already. Wait, why is everyone here? Oh, I heard you saying it was meaningless, and yeah, I guess there may be a reason for it. Earlier, when the natural team mentioned that natural things follow nature's path, if humans are natural, then are man made things actually not unnatural? Because, natural humans made them. But you know what, that's too philosophical. Let's not talk about that. Let's go back to the original definition and let me wrap up things by addressing the ambiguousness of with regard to some of the products on whether they are natural or man-made. Selective breeding of a natural thing involves an originally natural thing that is influenced and guided by humans. The product is natural but not its evolution. Insulin made by E. coli is probably more man-made, but using genetic programming of natural entities. Making a house with mycelium, well, the mycelium growing is natural, but not the organization of the mycelium into a building. And like this, many things are really not 100% natural nor 100% man-made. They have aspects of both. The materials and the processes can be natural or man-made. And even you, as a human, might not be 100% natural. You're wearing clothes, some of you probably rely on glasses or contact lenses, some might even rely on prosthetics or other sorts of aids, and some have voluntarily done plastic surgery. Maybe not you guys, but you know what I mean. But you get the point. Like, people wear all sorts of things and have done all sorts of things to add on to themselves and to help them in their lives. So even humans may not be 100% natural themselves. So is one truly better? Well, maybe, but that can't be said as it is. It needs to be said for a specific context and a specific reason, as we saw in the debate. We can't wholesale say that natural is better because man-made products do outperform many natural materials. Like, for example, we can use synthetic rubber, or we vulcanize rubber rather than just using, the pure rubber sap from the source. Or we use plastic instead of easily degradable natural materials. But on the other hand, when we realize that plastics are actually too hard to degrade, when we don't really need to use them for long term, then natural based products are brought in as superior. So it's really based on the context. If you want something to last for a very long time, you can use plastic. But if you don't want something to last for a very long time, you'd want to use something that can degrade in a short period of time. So that's one point. The other point is more natural products might feel more authentic or taste better, like coconut water straight from the coconut rather than from a water bottle or a can. But using man-made methods helps with preservation. That can's gonna last longer than the coconut due to separation of coconut flesh from coconut water. And some people may actually prefer processed food taste, so I don't know. And yeah, it could keep going on with many more points like this. But the point is, each has their merits, but they can be superior together. And with that, I will conclude this debate. Y'all better go back now. Thanks. And as for those watching, I hope you find this video useful. And if you did, please press the like button and subscribe. And with that, I would like to say thank you and bye.